it started to feel like the Baltimore Ravens defensive staff knows something the Cleveland Browns refuse to admit. While Cleveland sits around arguing about vibes and development timelines, Baltimore's defensive coordinator Zach is already in the lab drawing up plays for the possibility, no, the probability that Shedeur Sanders steps onto that field. And trust me, the moment the Ravens start preparing for you, the universe is telling Cleveland to stop pretending. Meanwhile, ticket prices for this Browns-Ravens matchup, $6. $6. American. $1. That's less than a slice of stadium pizza that tastes like expired cardboard. Browns Nation took one look at the price tag and said, nah, I'd rather stay home and emotionally suffer in peace. Honestly, proud of them. For the first time in forever, fans are finally speaking the only language NFL owners understand: wallets. And let's talk about what broke the internet today, Zach Orr's little non-answer about preparing for Shedeur. The moment a coordinator says, we're preparing for everyone. Translation, we don't believe a single syllable coming out of Cleveland. While Kevin Stefanski is out here insisting Dillon Gabriel will start come rain, snow, or planetary collapse, the Ravens are like, cute story, bro, but we game plan for actual threats. Then Orr sits down at the podium, all calm and smiling like he didn't just drop a tactical nuke in a Browns media. He's a physical player. He's versatile. Plays hard. Hold up. That's not how you talk about a quarterback you don't think will touch the field. That's how you talk about someone you're 60% sure will ruin your Sunday. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, Stefanski's giving corporate answers like he just got promoted at Staples. He keeps repeating the same phrase. We're focused on what we're focused on, which is the football version of I don't know what's happening, but I'm trying to look confident. Fans aren't buying it. Analysts aren't buying it. Jimmy Haslam definitely isn't buying it. Because do you know what gets an NFL owner's attention? Not boos, not tweets, not protest signs, but a phrase, you're about to lose $20 million. Suddenly Haslam is popping Tums like they're Skittles. And here's the wildest part. Every reporter who's been at practice says Shedeur looks good. Not okay, not decent, good. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel is being described with phrases like, not an NFL quarterback, and I don't understand how he's getting reps. One guy is a future asset. The other is a paperweight with cleats. Yet somehow, the Browns think this is fine. Every other team in the league would have thrown Shedeur in already just to see what they've got. Not Cleveland. They're treating him like a limited edition action figure that loses value if you take out of the box. Baltimore sees the danger. Browns fans see the danger. Kevin Stefanski sees a coloring book, apparently. But the pressure? Oh, it's coming. And the clock on Dillon Gabriel's starter era is ticking like a microwave on its last second. The moment Zach Orr finished talking, the whole AFC North felt the shift. Baltimore isn't stupid. They've watched the film. They've seen Dillon Gabriel's passes that travel like they're powered by dial-up internet. They heard Cleveland insisting he's the starter, but they've also been around this sport long enough to know when a franchise is lying through its teeth to avoid public embarrassment. And the way the Browns are handling this, it's almost admirable in a tragic, Shakespearean way. They are fighting against reality with the determination of a toddler refusing vegetables. Stefanski keeps chanting the same lines like a broken Roomba. Dillon's our guy. He gives us the best chance. He's improving. Improving at what? Stress levels? Blood pressure? The man throws a wobbling 5-yard hitch like he's negotiating hostage terms. Then you have whispers, real whispers from practice. Reporters describing Shedeur Sanders as composed, sharp, crisp, decisive. Meanwhile, Gabriel is described as a preseason arm and not an NFL starter in any dimension known to man. That's not even hate. That's physics. The locker room feels it. The coaches feel it. The media feels it. The fans feel it so strongly that the stadium tickets have basically turned into clearance rack coupons. When the entire fan base revolts with their wallets, that's not disrespect, it's communication. But the funniest part? The Browns front office can't decide whether to panic or pretend they're calm. Andrew Berry is somewhere staring at cap sheets like they're tarot cards. Jimmy Haslam is probably calling every billionaire he knows asking if any of them have a manual for what to do when your fan base mutinies. And Stefanski? Stefanski is working overtime to act like he isn't sweating through his jacket. The moment the Ravens acknowledged Shedeur, it pulled the curtain back. Baltimore has a reputation. They don't prepare for players unless they expect to see those players. There's no courtesy game planning in the AFC North. If they respect you enough to study you, they believe you're a threat, which means the only people still pretending Dillon Gabriel is the starter are the people who work for the Cleveland Browns. Ravens players are talking too. Quietly, respectfully, but talking. Defensive back saying things like he can move, he extends plays, and he's got arm talent. They're not talking about Dillon. Let's be real. The only thing Dillon extends is drive-killing third downs. And that's the part Stefanski can't hide from anymore. Once your opponents publicly entertain the idea of your rookie being the real danger, your facade crumbles. Your illusion fogs out. You can keep insisting on Gabriel, but now it just looks like stubbornness dressed up as strategy. Meanwhile, every national show is circling like sharks. Debates, breakdowns, segments titled "Should the Browns Start Shedeur?" Analysts staring into Cleveland's indecisiveness like it's a holiday ham. And the more the world talks, the smaller that Dillon Gabriel Hill becomes for Stefanski to die on. The pressure isn't coming. It's already here. It's wearing purple and black and sharpening its teeth. Now here's where the Browns season officially swan dives into full-blown absurdity. Because while fans are screaming for Shedeur like he's the last functioning lifeboat on the Titanic, Kevin Stefanski is still clinging to Dillon Gabriel like it's a romantic comedy and love will fix him. No, Kevin, love won't fix him. Arm strength might, pocket awareness might, but love? No, sir. And the Ravens? They're not fooled. Zach is prepping for Shedeur like he already saw the ending of this episode. He watched the film, saw Dillon Gabriel throwing like he's legally allergic to downfield passes, and immediately said, yeah, we're not gambling our season on Cleveland being this stubborn. Meanwhile, Stefanski is still giving press conferences where he refuses to say Shedeur's name like it's Voldemort. But here's the thing Browns Nation understands better than the Browns themselves. This team doesn't lose small. They lose epically, historically, artistically. They lose like losing is performance art. They lose in ways that haunt documentaries. And the Ravens know it too. Their defensive staff isn't just preparing. Oh no, they're licking their chops at the idea of Dillon starting again. Because if there's one quarterback who makes defensive coordinators feel like geniuses, it's Dillon Gabriel on a windy day. But here's where it gets even messier. Every single insider says the same thing. Shedeur looks better, more composed, more accurate, more dangerous. Meanwhile, Dillon is ranking dead last in categories you didn't even know existed. Yards per attempt, air yards, drawbacks, DBO, disasters before offense. Probably. So why isn't Shedeur playing? Well, apparently, this is where the Browns' philosophy becomes interpretive dance. ESPN Cleveland is baffled. Reporters are baffled. Fans are turning into detectives. People are drawing conspiracy diagrams on Reddit like it's a crime show. And while the city spirals, Baltimore quietly adjusts. Their plan is simple. If Dillon starts, we feast. If Shedeur starts, we tighten up and respect the threat. Meanwhile, Cleveland is treating Shedeur like the final boss they're afraid to summon. At practice, the rookie's throwing dimes, running the offense, being everything the fans hoped for. Yet Kevin Stefanski still insists on this developmental pyramid scheme he invented where the backup gets fewer reps than the team mascot. Then the analysts hop on air and drop the line that sent Browns fans into a spiritual crisis. The only way to know what Shedeur is to play him. Mind-blowing, apparently. Now Stefanski is acting like naming Shedeur, the QB2, would unleash a biblical curse. Bro, the curse already happened. It's called the season. It's over. Release the kid. Even the locker room can feel it. Players aren't saying it out loud, but their faces during Dillon's press conferences say everything. The defense is dying. The offense is lost. And the one spark plug you drafted is chilling on the sideline like a museum exhibit. Baltimore doesn't care about Cleveland's drama. They're preparing for the quarterback who could actually punch them in the mouth. And the Browns are preparing for hurt feelings. But the day is coming. The pressure is rising. The seats are empty. The owner is panicking. And the league is watching. Shedeur's time isn't just approaching. It's stalking, breathing down their necks, and knocking on the door with both fists. All right, Browns Nation, buckle up because the saga of Shedeur Sanders isn't slowing down. It's accelerating like Dylan Gabriel throwing the ball on a sightseeing tour. Now we're looking at the Ravens game, and here's the delicious irony. Baltimore's defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, is scheming, plotting, and quietly grinning behind a clipboard because he knows exactly what could happen if Shedeur actually sees the field. Meanwhile, Cleveland's front office and Kevin Stefanski are performing a masterclass in organized chaos. They're treating quarterback development like it's a board game with missing pieces. Dylan Gabriel is starting, yes, but the pressure is building. The stadium feels colder, ticket prices are tanking, and the city is collectively holding its breath, waiting for the inevitable. You see, Browns fans have become expert analysts out of sheer desperation. Every rep in practice is scrutinized. Every snap in a meaningless preseason simulation gets dissected like a TED Talk on quantum mechanics. And yet, the only person who hasn't touched the field is Shedeur. He's like the most expensive Christmas present ever, sitting under the tree, perfectly wrapped, gleaming, promising the future, but untouchable. And let me tell you, every fan, every media analyst, and probably a few cafeteria workers in Baltimore know it. Zach Orr is already planning for Shedeur. He's factoring in the kid's speed, his vision, his talent. The Ravens are ready. Cleveland? Not so much. Now, Kevin Stefanski walks into press conferences with the calmness of a man who knows his job is safe no matter what happens. He repeats the mantra, Dylan is starting. Shedeur is not. The world spins, fans scream, analysts explode. Yet Stefanski stands there like a monk meditating on a mountain, refusing to acknowledge the obvious. Ticket revenue drops, the fan base panics. The stadium seats echo with emptiness, but Stefanski nods thoughtfully, pretending it's all under control. Meanwhile, Jimmy Haslam is doing math in his office, calculating potential losses like a bond trader watching the stock market crumble. $20 million, maybe more, slipping away because the Browns refuse to play the quarterback they drafted with purpose. And let's be honest, the irony is delicious. Every analyst worth their salt, every fan with a Twitter account, and even rival teams know this is the solution. Play Shedeur Sanders. Not a gimmick, not an experiment, not a hypothetical. The kid is ready. The plan is clear. But the Browns have turned stubbornness into an art form. Dylan starts, Shedeur watches, and the clock ticks down on the season, inching closer to irreversible chaos. Meanwhile, Zach Orr isn't losing sleep. He doesn't need to. He's preparing for the real threat. He's thinking, you want to play Dylan? Go ahead. I've got Shedeur on the radar. And when he steps on that field, he's going to make you regret every questionable call. And the fans? They're losing it. Signs appear outside the facility. Play Shedeur or we riot. Chants echo through social media. Fan podcasts go nuclear. And every highlight reel from practice is scrutinized frame by frame. It's like the entire city has become a courtroom, and Shedeur Sanders is the defendant everyone is rooting to see set free. Meanwhile, the Browns are doing what they do best, pretending none of this is urgent. They're treating quarterback management like a science fair experiment gone wrong. Dylan is playing, Shedeur is frozen in place, and the city collectively sighs, shakes its head, and reaches for another overpriced hot dog. Meanwhile, there's the cruel humor in the timing. The season is slipping away, playoff hopes are non-existent, and every fan can see the future staring them in the face. If they keep Dylan as the starter, the team will collapse in predictable, melodramatic fashion. And if they finally let Shedeur play, it's the first glimmer of hope in a franchise that hasn't known consistent hope in years. But the Browns? They're holding their breath, calculating some imaginary risk, refusing to take the one step that would actually matter. And don't think Shedeur isn't aware. He's watching, learning, absorbing the chaos. Every interception, every failed play by Dylan is a lesson, a roadmap of what not to do. The kid is silent, professional, and untouchable, biding his time until someone finally makes the move that's been screaming from the sidelines since day one. And when that moment comes, you can bet Cleveland and the NFL will collectively exhale. Until then, the Browns sit in purgatory. Dylan Gabriel throws. Shedeur Sanders waits. Ticket prices plummet. Fans panic. Analysts scream. And somewhere, Zach Orr is calmly drawing up defensive schemes, smiling. knowing the one quarterback who could actually be a threat is ready for action. Cleveland may be playing a sitcom, but Baltimore is prepping for reality.